This is New Hope Baptist Church Cemetery. And it goes on up around the curve and then back down onto the main highway. This is my dad and my stepmother's headstone. And here's my dad's military plaque at the bottom of his grave. My last name was Ayers. And there's the picture on the tombstone. And yes, my dad's middle name was Tarzan. And then this was my stepmother and her maiden name, Davis. I have a story to tell, and I will share it with you in a minute. Okay, I'm in the car going on around the curve here at the cemetery. And it goes down the hill and back onto the road. Okay, here's the story. My dad died in September of 1988. And on Mother's Day that year, 4 months before he died, at that time I was married to my second husband and was raising 3 children. And they took me out for dinner on Mother's Day, lunch. And then after that and came home, my sister and I went over to my dad's house and stepmother's house just to tell her happy Mother's Day. Well, as soon as we got into the house and we sat down in the living area, and she sat in a little room adjacent to the living area with her arms folded, and we were sitting there with Dad. At this time, cancer had really taken over his body. He was taking radiation and chemotherapy, and like I say, he died in September. But anyway, we had told her as we came in the door, Happy Mother's Day. And then Dad began to tell us, my sister and I, what a good person our mother was. But that Annie, that was my stepmother, was a good person also. And did we not remember that it was Mother's Day? And we looked, my sister and I looked at each other in shock. It might have been a little later in the evening, but I mean, we came up there. And so my first answer to that was, well, yes, we never forget Mother's Day. And my family had just took me out to eat for Mother's Day. And then we decided to come on over here. Well, Dad didn't say much. I don't believe he knew what to say. And she was just still sitting over there with her arms crossed. And then he, after a pause, then he said, well, I need to tell you girls that I'm going to be buried over at New Hope Cemetery. That's where I'm going to be buried. Now, my sister, I think she took it harder than I did in the beginning. So she sat there a few minutes longer, and then she told Dad through tears that she loved him, but she didn't understand, and she had to leave. So she left the house and went out to the car, and I sat there a minute, and by then it was sinking into me that he wasn't going to be buried next to our mother. So I got up and I went over and I kissed Daddy, and I started crying. And I told him, I said, Daddy, I love you, but I don't agree with this either. But we love you. And then I left. And that was the story that I wanted to tell you when I showed you their headstone and the picture of them holding hands and walking up a little path to a church. I love y'all, Tangled Up in Blue. But I think I wanted to tell this story just to let you know that some people can just be cruel. They just are cruel. Bye-bye, Grammy.